Welcome to Little Legs Podcast. It's a calm, honest space. We share details of our parenting journey. And with me today is Imogen, and I'll let her introduce herself in just a minute, but you may recognise her from Little Legs. She's been with me a while, and she's in fact my first guest on our podcast, which is exciting. So, Imogen, tell me a bit about you and your family.
So I'm obviously, as you said, I run a Little Legs franchise. I am also one of the owners of Mighty Monsters Soft Play in Stapleford. I am a mum of three, a wife of one, because I think that's generally the way things work.
Yes, it is. That's
I
good.
haven't got multiple husbands, I've just got one. So I've got three children. So Phoebe is she's 8.5, going on 9, going on 19. And oh God, 9, that sounds really old, doesn't it?
It does.
And then the twins are 5. That's me.
Wow. Okay, so busy working mum with twins and an 8.5-year-old.
Yeah.
Crazy. So let's talk about, first of all, we'll talk about Phoebe. So thinking back to the early days, what was that really like for you as a first time mum?
First time round, it wasn't great, I can't lie. I was really lonely, is the main thing that I would take from my early days of motherhood. And I was somebody who always wanted to be a mom. Like, I was desperate to be a mom. And Liam and I have been together since we were 15. And since we've been together, have been like, I want a baby. I want a baby. I'm desperate for a baby. I really want a baby. And then so when we got married and we had a baby, I was like, wow, this is rubbish. Like, and in the sense that I couldn't say that it was rubbish either. I couldn't be like, I'm having an awful time. I was desperate to be in this like bubble of loving being a mom, but I just wasn't. Like, it just wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't what I expected it to be.
Where was the pressure and expectation from, though? Or was it
For
from yourself?
myself,
Was it
I
from
think. I think that was just me. I think I had thought, like, growing up, obviously, so much isn't there around that you see and you think, oh, when I have a baby, my life will be complete and I'll be this calm person. And there is also the pressure off, Facebook and socials and stuff to be this calm parent. I think we have it harder now. I think even from when yours were smaller, Kirstie, because you just did what you thought, didn't you, back then, sorry. Back in the olden days, Kirstie.
Yeah, when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah. I think I know, like, even my mum's done, like, I think about my mum and I think, you just did what you thought. You parented how you thought you should parent. You didn't put I guess you did put pressure on yourself, but there was none of that external pressure coming from everybody else telling you how you should parent. You might have read a book and thought maybe that's how I should do it, but you wouldn't have a constant barrage of gentle parenting tips coming at you, while you're feeding in the night. And I really struggled. And I think when I met you first, I was really struggling postnatal kind of depression and really struggled with anger. And I don't think a lot of other people recognize that in themselves. And I didn't recognize it until I kind of look back on it. And I used to get so angry that she wouldn't sleep, or she wouldn't she didn't follow a plan. She didn't feed and sleep and let me get out. Like, I wanted to be seen as this mum that was getting out and doing and, was able to go and like meet my friends shopping. I remember being like an hour and a half late to meet my friends shopping and being like, this is ridiculous. Like, I've not been able to just get ready and go out. But now, like, I think, of course you can't. You've got a newborn baby. I don't like, why did I put like, and I could say that probably could say that to anyone else. Even at that time, I'd have been like, don't worry about it. But you can't, I feel like that pressure to yourself is so different, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Was it any different when you had the twins?
I think I went easier on myself after having the twins. I think it was it was COVID, wasn't it? Lockdown. I already had like this bouncing 3.5-year-old. Or when I think back to that time, it's wild. I had like 2 newborn babies and a 3.5-year-old who was bouncing off the walls. And it was COVID. Stupid. But I think first time round with Phoebe was so like, I don't need any help. I don't need to accept any help. I can't be helped. I wouldn't be helped. I wouldn't ask for help and I wouldn't accept it if it was offered. But before the twins were born, when I found out I was having twins, I was like, babes, you can't do this on your own. That's 3 kids, 3 to 1. Liam had a lot longer off on paternity leave. He was in a job that was, it was incredible. He had a whole month off for paternity, which was like, that was great, just having those 4 weeks of having him at home. And that was a big difference, because that first month, it gives you that time, doesn't it, to like just set up, I guess. And then, yeah, like my mum used to come round, and my mother-in-law, they used to take it in turns, and they'd come and like sit with the twins. I'd go up, put Phoebe to bed, I'd go to sleep, and then they'd stay downstairs with the twins, and I'd express milk, and they'd feed them downstairs, keep them down as long as they physically could. And then sometimes Liam would come home from a night shift, take them and stay downstairs for a little bit longer. I think that sleep thing is like, that sleep's massive. When you have in classes the difference between people's babies who sleep and don't sleep, it's massive. Like, it's such this massive dichotomy of people who are like, my babies don't sleep and my babies do sleep, and you look at like how okay they are, and there's a real, like, it's a real balance. It makes such a difference having that time. And I always say that's the best thing I ever did, was like allow myself to sleep and not be guilty about it. I think first time around I've been like, no, I can't let somebody else have her, because she needs me, she needs the breast or whatever. And I think I had to let it go for the twins. I think that's probably the best thing that happened to me for motherhood, because it made me let it go. I had no choice. You can't not.
Yeah.
Some people do, but I couldn't.
But equally, that really helped you. So would you say that sleep was the most challenging thing, or what has been the most challenging thing for you in motherhood altogether, really?
It was a big thing, like I'm quite an early riser anyway, but that broken sleep is that's horrible, isn't it? It's like that being woken up all of the time. That was a big thing. It had a big impact on me. And the twins didn't sleep either. They didn't sleep till they were 9 months old. So don't get me wrong, like, once the help had dispersed a little bit, and those first few months everyone's there, but when they get a bit more, everyone just, they kind of expect everybody drops off a little bit. So they didn't sleep until they were about 9 months after I used a sleep consultant called Daisy at Lavender Blue, and she was amazing, actually. And I think that really helped me to kind of find a bit more of a rhythm. I think as a breastfeeding mum, I felt like I'd missed a life lesson of how to comfort my babies without putting a boob in their mouth. Like, genuinely, whatever. And Phoebe, up until the point that she was like 2.5, if she was crying, I put a boob in her mouth. Like, and then she stopped crying. And then once I stopped breastfeeding, I was like, oh, what do? I don't know what to do with you. But it really helped at night time, like cutting, like being able to find a different way to comfort them rather than breastfeeding. But I guess the other thing is that, like, just being able to be selfish, that into motherhood, that first drift into motherhood, of being like, oh, I can't just do whatever I want. I was talking about it in pregnancy yoga on Saturday morning. I was saying, motherhood is this most incredible, transformational, everything about it is amazing, apart from nothing.
Yeah.
About it is,
Yeah.
because you're still the same person, you still got the same wants and desires and drives. You can't do half of it, because you've now got to look after this small person who is like the most important person to you in the entire world. And like, your like image of love completely changes. But also, it's the most frustrating thing, it's that frustration of not just being able to just stupid stuff like go for a poo. Like, I just want to sit on the loo, or like, sometimes I'll get home from the school run, and even now they're like 5 and 8, I'll get in from the school run, I'll just walk up the stairs to go to the toilet, and I can guarantee you within 90 seconds, someone's at the bottom of the stairs shouting, "Mummy, what? You don't need me. You do not need me after 90 seconds of being in the house, especially not when your dad's downstairs." Like,
Considering I had mine in the dinosaur era, I hate to, but that doesn't change either.
like, what do you need from me? It's been 90 seconds. And yeah, but it is that whole thing of going from being nobody really needing you. You have that thing at work where you're needed, you've got a job to do, but it ends, you have like 7 hours in a day where you're needed, and then you get to switch off from being needed. But then you become a mom, and you're never not needed again. And I don't think anyone prepares you for that or the first time round. Like, and it's not a negative experience. This is what I was saying, because there's like 2 first-time mums and 2 second-time mums in my pregnancy yoga class. And I was trying to say to them, the first-time mums, like, it's not a negative experience. It's just a complete dichotomy away from what you've ever experienced before. because there's never been a period in your life where you've been needed 100% of the time. Even when you have a pet, like you can shut them away.
Yeah.
Like you can't, but you can
Yeah.
put the dog in the garden. You can't
Yeah.
put the baby in the garden to have half an hour of quiet. Do you know? Like,
Yeah. It's identity shift, isn't it? You go
yeah,
from being yourself to being a mummy.
yeah,
And it's the biggest transition, isn't it? Because you are never not a mummy again.
yeah, that's
And
it
you're
then.
never
Yeah.
not just you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it becomes, and I think even more so with the twins, being a twin mum became so much part, like ingrained into my identity. It was wild. Like, and sometimes I think about walking around with them now they're 5. Like, I'd say the pinnacle of when everyone was obsessed with them was when they were about 2.5. Everybody was like, oh my God, you've got twins. Oh my God, you've got twins. Because I think that's when they're cutest, when they're like toddling around. I mean, I found that really difficult, that stage where they fell over all the time and just split off. Do you remember I used to go places and they just used to
Oh, yeah.
go off in different directions? But I think it became so much of part of my identity that it felt weird either going out without them or just having one of them. But even now, when I go out with them, sometimes people will stop me and be like, I've got twins, like elderly people. And I think that says it all, doesn't it? It's literally becomes part of your identity.
Mum.
They're like 75-year-olds and they're going, I've got twins. And I'm like, okay. But I will be that mum. In 50 years, I'll probably be going, well, I remember how hard it was. And I've got twins. And yeah, it changes everything about you, I think.
I know seems a silly question, but what is the difference ultimately, do you
For
think,
what?
between having one and then having 2 at a time, other than having 2? But what do you think is different between having Phoebe and then having the girl? And I think actually on that note, I think I've just done the same thing. They have names, but I've clumped them together.
Well, they're still called the babies in my
Yes.
house, so they are the same. It's really funny. I will come back to that question, but they did a little singing concert today. I had to go in and watch them. They did this song that was 1, 2, 3. It's good to be me. 1, 2, 3. And then at some point there was like a little bit of the song that went like, I'm unique. I'm my own person. And me and my friend looked at each other and were like, you're not. You're the same. You're identical. But they are so different from each other. Anyway, the difference between the twins and Phoebe, I would say, do you know what? I would always say that Phoebe I found more difficult. Like having Phoebe as a baby, I found more difficult. The twins just slotted into my life because they had to. Clara and Eve were you just got on with it. And people used to say to me all the time, God, I don't know how you do that. And I'd be like, what do you want me to do? I don't understand. I've got no choice. This wasn't like, I was a 2 and out woman. I was never going to have 3 kids. And I think it was like not that I believe in God, but God had a plan. You didn't want 3 kids, you're having them. And I never thought it would be me. It was going to be that like 2 children. I've got a 3-bed house. They'd have a bedroom each. We'd have a bedroom. Everything would be fine. I think maybe if I'd have had the twins first, it would have been more difficult because I'd have been learning to be that different person, learning to have that different identity. But because I had them second, I'd already I guess second time round, you've already lost that bit of you. You've already lost that person who can do whatever they want whenever they want. So it's an easier transition, isn't it? Because you don't have to change as much of your life. Does that make sense? I already had to get out and do the school run. So I had to get out with the twins to do the school run. I was walking to school every day for Phoebe. They were like 6 weeks old.
Do you think you found it easier, like you said, they completely slotted into your life and you just got on with it? But do you think there's an element of the fact that you just went, I've gone from 1 to 3 here, and you accepted that help?
Yeah, definitely.
And you're on yourself.
Yeah, but then I also bought a Little Legs franchise when they were 8 weeks old. So
thank you.
did I go easy on myself, or did I think part of who I am is throwing myself in. And I think I saw an opportunity. If I hadn't started that then, I would probably just be thinking about going back to work. The twins Clara and Eve are now in reception. So I'd probably just have got enough time back to work. And a lot of people, I think, would have gone, do you know what? I'm going to take these years and I'm going to be at home. But it would have killed me, I think, being at home and just being a mom.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it would be too difficult for me.
Yeah.
I think, it's no scathe on people who do choose to do that, but it would be harder for me, I think, to be at home, being fully that mom than it would have been for me to do what I did and start a business.
Yeah. And now too. I remember actually one thing that used to drive you mad, and I don't know whether you remember this, but it literally drove you crazy. And I don't know if it's a twin thing ultimately, but you've got your hands full there.
Yeah, that was that and God, I'd have hated twins.
Yeah.
Okay, just keep your thoughts to yourself. I don't need
Yeah.
I don't care. And do you, like, though, I used to get, it depended what mood I was in. So there were times where I'd be like, leave me alone. I'd go supermarket shopping and people used to like stop me. And like, I've got 2 babies in a shopping trolley. I'm just trying to get through this food shop. And they'd be like, oh, are they twins? And I'd be like, yes. And then, oh, are they identical? Yeah. Oh, is one a boy and one a girl? No, because they're identical. Like, I don't, and I know that people were just trying to have conversations and were
Yeah.
just like, you know, a lot of them were just older people in supermarkets, just, you know, talking to me about the twins being cute. But
Yeah.
that you've got your hands full used to drive me mad because I'd be like, yeah, I have. Can you help me? Give me a hand. I do remember once being in the supermarket, and this is like something that I think it changed my entire being. It must have been like 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and Phoebe had been up since 5, and the twins had been up. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go and do the food shop because it's 8 a.m. Nobody's going to be in the shop yet. And I'm going to bosh it out. The twins have just been fed. Everything will be fine. Let's do it. Put the twins in the twin trolley. Phoebe was walking alongside me, got halfway through the food shop, and the twins decided they were both hungry. And I was exclusively breastfeeding them at this time. So then I had one on the boob, had one on in the trolley, like patting them, holding one here. And then Phoebe was like, Mummy, can I have? Mummy, can I have? Mummy, can I have? Because that's 3.5-year-olds are great at that, aren't they? Like getting what they want out of you because they know that
Yeah.
you're like distracted by something else at that point.
A week.
You're weak, yeah. So I was like, right, we're walking past this like pop-up Barbie exhibition thing that was like at the top of the freezer aisle for some reason. And I was like, oh God, why is that there? Anyway, Phoebe was like, can I have a Barbie? And I was like, yeah, just get in the trolley. I don't care. I was feeding one baby, patting the other baby, like trying to push the trolley all at the same time. And this woman who had like probably a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old or something stopped, put her food shopping in a trolley to the side, came, put my entire food shop on the belt, packed my food shopping for me.
Oh,
And all I had to do was pay. And I was like, I genuinely just cried.
I was going to say, did you cry?
I was like, oh my God, it sticks with me now as being like, and I still see her sometimes. And I think, you don't know who I am, but you've got no idea who I am. That had such an impact on me as a first time. Like, I would never have gone into a shop again. It would have been, can't do that. But just the fact that somebody like stopped and was, you need help, I'm going to help you. And I think that like changed my, I mean, I've always been somebody who believes that, you know, people will always remember how you treat them. And I think in 50 years, probably, I won't remember what that event is, but I will still remember that woman as being somebody who helped me at that time.
Yeah.
I think that is so important to everything that I believe, is that people remember how you treat and what you
How
do
you
for
made
them,
them feel.
make them feel. Yeah. Yeah.
Knew you'd cry at that. I remember actually, and I didn't do it for any other reason, but I didn't know how powerful this had been to this lady. And she got 2 children with her, and I was in the park. I was about to run some beanie in the park actually. And she walked past and she was so harassed. And one was shouting, one was she just totally overwhelmed. And she was walking past me, and I turned around and I just said to her, "You're doing a great job." And she just looked at me and went, "Oh, thank you." And then I saw her not long after, and she said, "I'll never forget that you said that." And it's not a lot, is it? Because I just looked at her and thought, if that was me, I wouldn't want judgment. I wouldn't want someone going, "Oh, she's struggling and the kids are being feral." You just want someone to go, "Are you okay? And you
Yeah.
are enough, and you are a good mom."
Help
And I
you.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, can I help? What can I do to help you in that
Yeah.
situation? But this is why mums are just incredible, and that's why we love working with them, and dads as well, because you watch that support. So early days, obviously, it had its challenges, but in 8 years of being a mum, what's been the most challenging part of being a mum?
I think being needed by everybody. You know what? My worst time of the day is dinner time. I freaking hate it. Everybody's come home from school. They're all tired. They're all hungry. I don't think this changes from the early days. So, like, you know, the early days, you have the witching hour, don't you? Like, 5 till 7 where they're just needy and like don't want to be put down and sat on you, and you can't eat your own tea and you've got to put everybody to bed, but everything's going on. And I don't think that ever changes. Now they're just bigger and louder about it. Now I've got Phoebe wants one thing for dinner, Cara and Eve want another thing for dinner. Generally Phoebe like has a packed lunch, but the twins have a hot dinner at school. So there's this thing where Phoebe probably needs a hot dinner, like a dinner, whereas the twins can have what I would call like an easy tea, like a waffles and beans or something. Like I don't mind them eating that because I know they'll have eaten some kind of vegetable at school, whereas Phoebe, I'm like, you need to eat a bit more. So then I'm generally cooking, which I always said that I would never do, by the way. I'm then cooking like 2 meals, maybe 3 meals sometimes if I'm feeling particularly. Then at least 2 people ask for different things at different times. Can I have, and I'll be like serving up, and then Phoebe will be like, can I have cheese on mine? And then Clara will be like, can I have a drink? And Eve will be like, I like drop my fork on the floor. So then I'll be getting a drink for Clara. And then Phoebe will be like, you've still not got my cheese. And it's constant. And I think, I don't know whether that's my ADHD, but it like has a task paralysis on me of like I'm now unable to complete a task because I've been asked to do something else. That's what I find difficult. I don't know, that's probably a very trivial thing to find difficult.
But that's the thing that you find hardest. So
Yeah.
when things have been particularly difficult for you, because obviously there's a lot of positives there and you speak really, really highly of them, and you do, and it's clear you enjoy being a mum. But what you've mentioned a few, so Lavender Blue, your mum,
Yeah.
mother-in-law, family, that lady at the checkout. So there's been quite some momentous moments. What was the thing and what continues to help you, do you think, as a mum?
Other mums. I think one of the things that I found most difficult with Phoebe was how lonely I was, because you have all these friends before you have a baby, and then they're around, like they're still there, but they've still got their lives going on, they're working. My sister was working, my mum was still working at that time, and Liam was working 52 hours a week or something, like a hideous amount of work. And I was just on my own a lot. And you think that you can talk to this baby, but all this baby does is cry, and like it's unsettled a lot. You feel like all you do is try and settle and trying to get to the next stage, you're trying to get to the next bit. But I didn't do mum groups. I didn't do any of it. And one of the only things I ever did was come to you, Kirstie, and I know we did like a 1-to-1 massage course, and then I came to a few bits, but you were all the way over in West Bridgeford at that point. I didn't have a car, so it was quite difficult to get around. And I'd have told myself I didn't need mums as well. And I think it's something that a lot of mums do, like before they go on maternity leave. I'm not going to need any more friends. I've got my friends.
Yeah.
I don't need any more friends. And I definitely won't need mum friends. I'm not sitting around in a circle talking to other mums about how much their baby poos. And while that is still true for me, like I don't necessarily have those conversations with my mum friends and never have done, but there has been a real shift in how I've been this time round, because I was surrounded by people who were in the same stage of motherhood as me, because I was running classes for them. And now I tried to go to classes when Phoebe was little. I never found that space. Like I was always the odd one out. I was always sat on the edge of the group, and I never found a space that felt comfortable for me. So sometimes I do question whether what I've done in creating Little Legs with Imogen created an environment needed as a first-time mom. And I think that's what I have done. And in doing so, taking away like that selfish element of somewhere that I feel comfortable, I've created that space that other mums feel comfortable, because they're allowed to be the person they are. I've got mums who come in and are shy. They're really shy people. They're not me, the opposite of shy. They'll come to one group and I'll think that they're never coming back. They hated that because they don't react in the same way that I do. But then they book like all of the classes and then come back with their second babies. And like, I know that I create that space that means everything to them, that they can come in and be themselves. They don't have to be this overtly happy person, but they know that I will speak to them and I will chat to them and I will make them feel comfortable. And yeah, I think that's been the change. When I first started running classes, I was running classes for children who are now in the same year as the twins. They were literally like weeks older than them. In my brain, all these children were so much younger than the twins were. And now we went for a play date with one of the girls that was in one of my first ever baby massage classes. Her mum's now having twins, and the twins are friends with that little girl, and like they all came to my classes. Like that's wild, isn't it? That I just think that's wild.
You did all of that.
Yeah.
You created that space, the space that you needed for you.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. Honestly, that I want to have a little cry, to be fair, because that's just so lovely. Sorry. Very emotional anyway, but that was just, yeah, exactly that. What has motherhood taught you about yourself?
What I really want to say is I'm not a very good mom, but I thought it would come easily to me because I was so desperate to be a mom.
Yeah.
And I guess what I've learned is that it didn't and it wouldn't.
So, yes, I am going to tell you off. But okay, and I've said this to numerous mums that have said that, but could anyone else parent your 3 children better than you? Could they love them more than you? Oh, behave yourself. But would they love them?
It
Would
wouldn't
they
love them
more than you?
Yeah. No. I think the thing is they're really funny and they're really good. Like they're really good kids. I think it just does something to you inside, doesn't it? And when I'm at my worst, when I'm really struggling with their behavior or with them as individuals, my favorite thing to do is to look at them when they don't know I'm there. Like for me to see them behaving in the way, and you can tell at the minute they've turned a corner, because there were points where if I'd have said that out loud, it would have made me cry. But it genuinely is like being able to look at them from an outsider's point of view. Like, I remember going to the zoo with them, and they'd just been class A awful children the entire day. That's not the word that I wanted to use.
Oh, I know.
Because of this podcast. And I remember I was like, they'd left them with my sister and her husband. And I just went to the toilet and I like came out of the toilets and I just watched them for probably 10 minutes, just interacting with each other, interacting with my niece, interacting with my sister and their uncle, and thought, oh, you're so lovely. And I literally walked back into that situation and they were horrible again. At least I know that when I'm not there, they're delightful.
What that's taught you about yourself is the fact that you've raised some amazing kids, and the fact that they can be awful, your words, around you is because you're their safe place. So
yeah, I hate that. I hate that.
I know you do, but it's true.
My
We are though, aren't we?
Oh God, yeah.
I'm
not that safe most of the time.
You are, and that's the thing. You have 3 beautiful kids. You light up when you talk about them. Here's curveball for you. Are they the children that you envisaged having when you were desperate for a baby, or have you just had kids that have the best personality and push your buttons and try and test you, but you wouldn't want them any other way?
You know what I've actually got, Kirstie, is 3 of myself, which is the problem, because I like to be in control and I like to get my own way. So do my children. So we butt heads all of the time because we all want to be in control of everything.
So if they were conforming and sat there and never got dirty and didn't have a personality and nodded constantly and always only ever wanted one thing for dinner that they all wanted, would that be what you want motherhood?
Nice. The dinner thing. No, they are great. They all have a personality. They all make us laugh. And they're fiercely loyal to each other. Like they'll be the first to tear each other down, but also the first to be like, you don't talk about my sister like that. And I just see that as they get older, I see that snowballing into something else.
So who does that remind you of?
Me.
Fiercely loyal.
Yeah.
Like you don't do injustice. You protect the people that you love. So I think you've answered your own question.
Yeah. I always say this about raising women. This is the problem with raising women, is that you're raising women to be the strong, independent women you want them to be. You just don't want them to be strong, independent women when you're raising them.
Oh yeah, I've got one.
But you can't have it. You cannot have it that way. There's no raising a strong, independent woman whilst having a wallflower. Some may grow up like that, but I look back over everything. I think the fact they didn't sleep, they didn't conform to fitting into the pattern that I wanted them to. And I think that's what's difficult. It's like they don't fit into the pattern that you want them to fit into. And therefore that makes it hard.
Right, so who raised them?
Me and Leah.
Right. So are you a bad mum, or have you raised fiercely independent your children that make you laugh?
Yeah. One of my good friends said to me, I don't know what you've done to those children, but they are the most resilient kids I've ever come across. It's like, I don't know whether that level of resilience is good, but we'll.
But it's exactly so. I love proving you wrong on these things because I think you do doubt yourself as a mum, but then when you talk about your kids, it's clear that you are a fantastic one. And when you always wanted a baby and you said motherhood doesn't come easily to you, I think you find it challenging, but my gosh, they get their independence and their resilience from you.
I also don't think though that anybody finds motherhood easy. And I would actually challenge people who say that it does come easily and it is easy.
Yeah. And I think as part of what we do, that's why we do it. So people can actually have that safe space to say with no
And
judgment.
I'd like, along with that, for anybody who's listening who's not a mum yet, you don't need a course to teach you how to be a mum. You don't need somebody to tell you how to be a mum or what to do in those early days. You just need to listen to yourself and find the space, the support, the team around you. I think there's so much coming out now, so many kind of antenatal things that are coming out about, and I did a few of them, how to hold babies or how to change nappies, or breastfeeding ones are probably pretty good. But even that, when they actually come, breastfeeding is something that's completely different to what you learn and you're holding a knitted boob and you're flicking a knit or whatever.
Yeah.
And to some people that might be really helpful, but I struggle a little bit with all that antenatal stuff. And I think that it comes. We're a race of species that has done hundreds of thousands of years with nobody telling us how to raise our babies. I worry that it's another level of like almost infiltration into what it is to be a mum and how it is to be a mum.
Yeah.
I struggled because I was watching everybody on social media and I was seeing everybody's stuff. It's almost like another level up to that, isn't it? This is how you should do all these things. But then if you don't, is that the right way to do it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember I'd got a pile of books and I remember the best advice. And she was my boss at the time. And I had Amy 3 months after she had her daughter, and I had Daniel 3 months after she had her son. So I really did say, don't have any more at that point, and she didn't, and here we are. But I remember phoning her crying one day saying, I can't even remember what it was. I can't remember what it was at all, but I was basically, Amy did not fit into this book. And I was like, she's not doing this, she's not doing that. And she said to me, I want you to do me a favor, close the book and look at the front cover. And I did. And I was sat there on the phone to her looking at the front cover. And she said, does it say Amy McIntosh, a guide to Amy McIntosh? And I literally looked at this book and went, no. And she went, to throw it in the bin and just listen to each other.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I've never forgotten that. And I'll say that as well to anyone. So similar kind of thing, isn't it? It's like we need to trust ourselves, trust our process, trust our children as well. Because otherwise you send yourself crazy and think you're doing everything wrong, which puts that pressure on. Yeah. So I believe I agree with you.
The app thing as well, isn't it? It's the logging every feed, logging which boob you fed on. I used to literally do that to feel which side my milk was still in, because I would never, I mean, I did it for a bit and I got so obsessed with it that I was like, those sleep windows and stuff that it would give you.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh God, I remember one Sunday, all I did was try and get the twins to fit into this pattern, and then I just deleted the app because I was like, they ain't fitting into that. No way.
Oh, yeah. I religiously did that. And I don't know what it really gives you. Really.
Panic.
Yeah, I suppose it does. Because then,
Panic, sense of failure.
Yeah. And I think Daniel hated breastfeeding and the bottle. So I couldn't fit
Hated
anything.
food. Hated trying to be kept alive.
Basically, yeah. He just wanted to eat normal food from birth. And as soon as he got onto that, he was happy. Oh, honestly. But they're all different, aren't they? And I think yeah, it's really hard. It is really hard. But I guess like you said, there's expectations. We're made to feel like we should be so excited by it. But there's challenges as well, as amazing as it is. So I think we've covered this already. But your final message here, I just loved everything you've said. But you meet a first-time mum for the first time, and what would be your key messages for her? or a dad as well, mum and dad, what would be your key messages? What would you want them to know?
So for parents, as in as a couple, don't make any decisions about your relationship in the first 4 years of your child's life, because everything your relationship is going to go through in the first 4 years of their life is going to completely tear up anything. Even if you've been together 20 years, it will change everything that you know about each other. You think you know everything about each other. You don't until you've got a baby. One of the best things that I learned from a friend who I made through Little Legs was that she had a never time in the night time. So the never was from 11 p.m. till 2:30 in the morning. And anything that got said in that time, we never speak out, never speak out. It's done. You say horrible things to each other, you are curt with each other, whatever. But in the morning, it never happened. And we start again. And I think that is one of the best things that I ever heard, because I was like, do you know what? It's so true. You're so mean to each other in the night because you're really tired. So and that's my relationship. Okay. So as a couple, thinking about that, as an individual, so mum or dad, soak it in, but also soak in that it's hard. Allow yourself to feel that it's hard.
Yeah.
I think I blocked so much of the early life of my kids because if I found it really hard and I felt like I was failing. And I look back at photos of them now and I think, I don't remember you like that. And it really hurts. Like, it really hurts to know that I didn't see. I'm looking at Phoebe when I was pregnant with the twins now, and I don't remember her like that. And I think because you're in this like pregnancy haze as well, you don't remember everything. But allow yourself to know that it's difficult, but also to enjoy it. Lie with your baby on your chest. Don't do the housework. Take the time to know yourself, to get to know the new version of you, and to know that you're not lost in motherhood or parenthood. Go to a group when you feel ready. Little Legs of Imogen is good,
Obviously.
but anyone, and I say this all of the time, I will promote myself. It is my business. I have to get new people in. But if I am not the person for you, go to somebody else. If you come to my class and you don't like it, that's okay. Like, I'm not for everyone. What I do isn't for everyone, but go somewhere and find something that is your space, because it will change your life. You will find people that you love. Your babies will find people they love. I have people in my classes that started at baby massage. They still come to Zumbini, go into Monsters, and like their kids just all run around together. Just give yourself the space and the grace to find that from wherever you need to find it from.
Thank you, Imogen. And as always, you are incredible. And I think a lot of people are going to get a lot from everything you've said. And thank you for being so honest and true.
Anytime. I can't physically be any other way, Kirstie. As
I know, and I wouldn't want you to be. It just shows that anyone listening, that you are not alone. We are here to show that perfection doesn't exist. It's about connection over perfection. And I love, give yourself space and grace. Thank you so much, my darling. Thank you.